Ambassador, I think it's important that you heard about the bus, okay? So I told people like 2 days after the election, you either get on the bus or we're going to run over you with the bus, okay? So I now have a bus in my office that I off from my staff. All right, Director Money. Give her a round of applause.
Some of my fan club is here with me, Governor.
Yes, please.
Governor, thank you for the opportunity to serve as the Director of the Ohio Department of Youth Services. I've had the privilege of devoting the past 30 years of my life to reform initiatives in the field of corrections, and it is clearly my passion. At DYS, we are in the midst of major reform, and as Director, I'll ensure that we continue working to improve safety and security in our facilities, enhance and expand community capacity, and we will continue to prepare youth to successfully return to communities, because we know that the alternative is to return back to youth service or come into the prison system. I'll lead the DYS team in transformation. I'm committed to the agency mission of supporting positive change in the lives of youth in Ohio. We'll continue to strengthen opportunities for positive youth development and rehabilitation in our facilities. And we will also persist in building our community initiatives to reach youth, to support families and communities. And as we continue our strong collaboration with the juvenile courts throughout Ohio, we'll continue the work that has been begun in our state. All of these initiatives support the Governor's commitment to improving the quality of government services and the value that we provide to taxpayers. There's less expensive ways to deal with the youth in our state who've committed crimes than to lock them up in DYS. With this strong foundation of reform in place, I look forward to taking DYS to the next level. Thank you, Governor.
Work with her, right? We think of all the young people that are here at the State House today and all the hopes and dreams, and to think about these young people who get off the road, Ambassador, and just head in the wrong direction, whether it's drugs or crime, you know, a stolen life. And if we can get them somehow motivated in the right direction before it's too late, you never know what they can do to bring some great things to our society. So the need to be aggressive and innovative in the area of youth services is, of course, absolutely critical. And I'm thrilled that Christine has agreed to stay on and run this with her enthusiastic team. I don't see any pom-poms or anything else, but I know you're enthusiastic. Okay, thank you all. Questions from the press?
Yeah, Senator Goodman, picking up on the Governor's comments about departments doing things differently and working together differently. I know if you've had a chance to talk with John about what you'd like to have Commerce do differently or better or not at all, and how that might interface with the new Jobs Ohio Department.
Oh, well, it's integral to the new Jobs Ohio program, and I have spoken to the Governor, and like I said, nothing is off the table. Anything we can do to make the process easier for business to function in the state of Ohio, that's what we're going to do. I'm looking forward to working with the Lieutenant Governor, Mary Taylor, who's working on the regulatory reform project that is integral to this administration's success. It's going to be what I'm doing day one, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the next 4 years to make Ohio better.
Yeah, I think we have to look at this in a kind of a comprehensive way. So in the upfront period, you've got Mark Kwame, you've got David Goodman, you have Mary Taylor, really, frankly, the entire cabinet, but some are more connected than others in this area, for example, financial services. So I would anticipate we would have a Director of Department of Insurance, a Director of Commerce, the Director of the Department of Development. I anticipate inviting all the CEOs of our insurance industry to get together to tell us what needs to be done to strengthen them and to find other insurance companies. And the idea being that California and New York are imploding. Ohio used to be very competitive in this area. We've lost our way. No miracles can happen overnight, but perhaps we can lay a foundation for improvement. No question that these lower income taxes will help us. And I see the banks themselves. I mean, I talked to Jim Rohr at PNC. I've been invited to lunch by the new CEO of Key Bank. We're going to involve these banks and sit down and work with them because, you know, the Huntington Bank, I've had extensive discussions with them. It's important we keep the Huntington Bank in Central Ohio. So these are all things we have to think from the standpoint of what is it that you need, and not in terms of passing out dollars, but what do you need in terms of a regulatory approach that makes it easier to do business so that when you go to your conferences you say, you know, let me give you an example, they sort of get it in Ohio. That's where we want to end up at the end of the day. That's on financial services, but there are many other reforms that are necessary for other industries and commerce. So, you know, I just throw this out, not sure I would do this, but my director, Bob Blair's back here with Administrative Services, is here with my goddaughter, Emily Blair. You know, we think about things like the elevator inspectors. I mean, is there a way to do that where government doesn't have to be in the middle of that? We're going to think about ways in which we can outsource some of these functions at the same time.
You mentioned the executive order you planned on Monday dealing with regulations. Can you explain a little bit how that would work?
You know, Mark, I haven't, you know, sat at a desk and read it all, but it's basically going to say that the cabinet directors, the directors of all these operations are going to coordinate with Mary to systematically review the regulations that they found in their areas that are overly restrictive. So you take a guy like Zeringer, the head of the Department of Agriculture, and you know, he's got a series of things that he would like to talk to us about, but I want them to understand how serious we are in terms of reg reform and reg repeal and reg flexibility. Everybody talks about it. It's been talked about in this administration. It's been talked about, you know, since Moby Dick has been a minnow, but we don't make much progress. They've made great progress in the state of Texas, where they've created, you know, tons of jobs here in the last few years. So you have to take this issue seriously, regulations that we can work on our own, and perhaps a need, Mark, to submit legislation to reform the underlying law. But this is called CSI, for those that aren't familiar with it. It's Common Sense Initiative. We just came up with CSI on our own because we're clever, and or somebody did. But Mark, that's the thinking behind that.
Yes, sir.